here going live for just a short time tonight because I want to go over all of my favorite tools in Adobe Fresco. I'll go up here a little bit higher so you can see my tools on the side as I'm pointing to them. And I know some folks will come on here soon and we'll get started. I'm gonna start without them. And just make sure we're all aligned here. Okay. Actually, I could go a little higher because you can't see a little bit higher on here. You can't set up the live screen ahead of time, unfortunately. Okay, now we can see it. Okay. So, what I want to show you tonight are what a lot of these tools on this side do, and a couple things up here, and a few things down here on this side. And I will try and demonstrate most of them. And so hopefully we'll get through this without too much time passing. So the first thing, we have brushes right up on the top here. And this brush, which is full of things like pencil brushes and rakes, dry brushes, ink, markers, a little bit more traditional sketching kinds of materials. But it is a pixel brush. All of these are pixel brushes. And then on the next one are some awesome paints in oil and watercolor, and there's a lot of different brushes in there, also pixel brushes. And I can show you the difference between a pixel brush and a vector brush in a minute when I do a raindrop with you. So the next thing is the vector brushes. And the vector brushes also have a variety of brush shapes, but they're a different kind of brush. For instance, let me see if I can show you up close here. So if you look at this brush here, this blue, I'm going to go even larger so you can really see it. It's got pixels on the side of it. And if instead we choose, now the reason that I'm doing this demo is because this is a simple program anybody can download. It's Adobe Fresco. It takes a little bit of a learning curve, but compared to, for instance, Adobe Illustrator or some of the more complicated art programs, Adobe Fresco is a lot easier, and I actually use it more than I use anything else when it comes to art programs. And so that's why I'm giving a quick lesson in it, because I think that anybody who has an iPad can download this. You can also use a Wacom tablet with your computer. There's anything that pretty much you can go on Adobe and they'll list all the compatible, but you have to be able to use a stylus to really get the detail that you want. So let me quickly show you the difference between a pixel brush, which is one of these top two, and a vector brush. And I'm just going to do an extra layer here so that I don't mess up my drawing, because I'm just going to erase it. So we'll just use, just so you know what I'm doing here, we're going to use a nice bright pink, and there's a dot. Basically, here's a line in a vector brush compared to a pixel brush, a wet brush. So the quality of this is it's very, very easy to manipulate as far as size goes. It will always, no matter how big I make it, it is always going to have that extra clean edge, because it's a different kind of a tool. It's a different kind of an image creation in the program, and there's a lot of art programs that have one or the other. Not all art programs have both vector brushes and pixel brushes. So it can be scaled without it becoming pixely. The downside to a vector brush is they tend to be very flat. and you have to do all sorts of layering in order to get a painterly look. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that layer and go on with showing you more tools. So here's a tool. I'm going to just hit done here. And then if I just want to clear that layer, I can tap on this layer. These are all the layers in my drawing. It's like, picture sheets of paper, one on top of another, clear, see-through paper. That's what each layer is. And I'm just going to go ahead and clear the layer and it'll erase it, but it doesn't get rid of the layer. So that's the difference between, so these brushes with the multicolor, if you go real close, you see the pixels. And so it's an automatic blending thing that happens just like, and the feel of it is really just like a paint on paper. I love it. So then there's a very handy eraser, and the eraser pretty much will erase anything. You just have to figure out what layer I want to erase that little black dot, and I found it earlier tonight when I came on. It's in the same layer as the bug, the little ladybug. So I'm going to go ahead and erase. I'm going to go on that layer. Got to click on that layer. And then I'm going to erase. Oh, that's a really thin. Now, if I want to make this bigger, this eraser bigger, I just click on this tool here in the corner to change the size. And I'll just see how big that gets. And then I just erase with a bigger one, and it's quicker. Okay, so going down here, this is for blending, and there's a lot of brushes on there. So let's just go to, for instance, the leaf, and let me blend in that orange paint into the green a little bit more. So that's the blending tool. And that also you can change how tall how wide it is, and how detailed it is, how dark, how big of an impact it has when you blend. This is the move button, so it's going to grab whatever is on your layer and you can move it. I didn't mean to do that. So there's a back button. Whoops, that's a back button, and it puts it back where I had it. And so I'm going to hit done. Whenever you've got something selected, you have to press done in order to see your toolbar again. This again, that's the move button. So I'm picking everything. This is a really great tool I'm going to show you next. There's several tools in here. There's a lasso tool, the magic wand, a paint selection, a rectangle, an ellipse, and a polygon. And so basically it's for choosing things that you already have. And I'll just use the magic wand. It kind of outlines it and isolates it. You do have to be on the layer that it's on. So let me go the layer that, that the object is on that you want to select. And we're going to use the magic wand. And I'm going to select just my blue outline. And I'm just going to tap right there. And now my blue outline is chosen. And it's only the blue outline that's connected together. If I want to choose this one, I can also tap there, but it didn't choose. That's interesting. So now it's choosing, my mistake, this whole section. So let me deselect, and I want to say, nope, I just want the blue. What did it choose? It chose the outside. I don't want that. Deselect. I want this right there. Now I got it. So you have to really pay attention to where both sides are. So it's saying I can do anything with paint in there that I want. Let me go and grab a paintbrush in, we'll just use another color. Let's see. So this is an oil, I happen to remember. And it was a filbert, I believe. And let's look at what color. Let's do it in just a slightly different blue, just to make it a little more interesting. We'll go up here towards the aqua, but we're going to go pretty dark. And now, if I want to paint inside there, I grabbed the oil paintbrush, and it's not working. I love it when am I on the right layer? Yes. Is it working? Interesting. Does it work here? No, nothing's working. So my demo is not actually, oh, it's a vector. Maybe it's a vector layer. Nope, it's a pixel layer. Oh, am I on that layer that's selected? I love it when things go wrong live. Okay, so that's not working. I've done this quite a few times. Let's see what's going on here. Maybe it's on, maybe if I go up to this and we'll just choose something different. Let's choose something went wrong on that other layer. So let's choose that. And this one I know is a vector layer. So I'm going to use a vector brush again. And we're just going to go ahead and, oh, I might have missed a step. I might have forgot to tell it to mask. Let's use the same color. Can I? Yeah, so there, it's all staying inside, even though my pen's going way across. It's all staying inside the selected area. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to hit the undo button because I don't actually want to do that, and I'm going to deselect. Okay. So that one was a little hard on the narrator because the first version didn't work. Moving down, there's a bucket. That's another way that I could fill. And the bucket automatically selects areas. So let me get that red color again. It's right there because I noticed there's something going on there. I don't know if it's an eraser mark or whatever, but I'm going to hit the bucket here to fill this. And let's say we're going to fill his body, not his wings, his whole body. Oh, interesting. So I don't really want to do that, but you see how that worked. All I had to do was tap on it and the whole thing filled. Now, another thing you can do, because on this layer, there's only the bug. So if I tap that red color, let me show you. If I tap it outside of the bug, it's going to fill the whole sheet. And I don't want to do that. But there are times when I want to do stuff like that. So it's good to have a bucket. And then there's shapes here for drawing and text. There's an eyedropper, which I use in the colors all the time. So let's say I wanted to choose a green color, specifically this super light green. Now all of a sudden it's moved the color wheel right to that color. So whatever paintbrush I'm using or bucket, now if I use the bucket with that and tap, it's going to turn everything that bright green. So let me go back. I don't want to do that. Thanks everybody for watching. I got to check the comments real quick. Blankly, I want to see the art, like the whole thing. So this is just a demo piece, and I have quite a bit of art that I've done, and I've done lives where I've drawn the whole thing. I'm just demonstrating tools tonight. So if you hit the subscribe and follow me, I promise you I will be doing entire drawings, because that's usually what I do. Just doing these tools is for folks that I just need to get this. A lot of people don't know how to use this program. It's Adobe Fresco, and it can be used on an iPad. There's a lot of Androids devices that you can get a stylus with, that it'll work with. There's also you can work with a laptop computer if you hook up a Wacom tablet with a stylus to that computer. So the Adobe Fresco program is the main thing I'm trying to show you tonight. But thank you. Come back, please. I will show you more art. So art making. So next, you can actually add a photo. So I could just go here and I could choose these lettuce leaves, and then you can add a photo to your picture if you wanted to do that. I don't actually want to do that, but it's very simple to do it, and it creates a photo layer back. Nothing to undo. Okay, so done. And that is a photo layer only, so I'm just going to delete that layer. Okay. Okay, next up is making sure you can still see all the tools. I wanted to go over here to this side. We get into some pretty fun buttons over here. Something that I use often is the settings. And if you want to create videos or videos of your making of your artwork, or you want finished photos, you can set up your settings here and in the, I think in the app settings. So quick export settings is here. You can tell it the file format, restore, and then the time lapse settings is something I definitely wanted to point out, because it doesn't have a default of high quality. It has a default of like a very medium quality, and I didn't realize I could control that. I'm going to show you really quick what a time lapse is, because this is one of the most exciting things about this program. So if I want to show someone that I drew this from scratch, I can actually show them, oops, don't allow, I pressed the wrong button. I can actually show them, go out of there, thank you, that I did this from the beginning. I am going to, here we are, publish and export. So we'll just go ahead and do the time lapse export. I could also have done a preview of this, but it's going to go ahead and do the export document. Hopefully it'll be done soon. It usually doesn't take this long. I wonder if there's something wrong. Oh no, there we go. So I can look at the preview just by clicking on the arrow here. So the first layer I did was a watercolor background. Then I put in the leaf. I put in a couple stems and added a bunch of leaves in the background. These are all done on different layers. Colored in everything. Didn't like how thick the line was. Played around with that for a while. And thinned it all down, cleaned it all up. Then I added some very rough raindrops. Worked on my bug, his legs were too long, fixed that. And then I went back and added a little more linear raindrops. And then basically got to this demo. So it records, this program records everything that you do. It's easy if I want to go back and do a training video, I can pull this video and pull parts of the video from it. I also, if you go on my shorts page, I've done a ton of different live drawings, and I pull from them. I pull from just regular artwork that I've done in this program, and I make little animated art videos that are just less than a minute long, and I absolutely do it just for my own enjoyment. And then I put it out on YouTube, so I've got different types of material going out for people to watch. So anyway, that is, I'm going to hit done here. That is how you do your export. It ends up, you save it to your photos, and it just shows up as a video, an MP for video in your photos. So let me go back, done. That was sort of one of the really important buttons up here that I wanted to show you was the settings and the export of that time lapse. And then as we go down here, this is just showing you all the different layers that I have and I've created. And you can move these layers around. But let me show you what happens. Like if I were to take that background layer, which is just above a piece of black, and let's move that up here, watch what happens to the drawing. Oh my goodness. So you can move your layers around. Something that I did with this layer, I copied my black layer and I put it up here, but then I used this setting over here. So let's go on that layer. I'm now on this little layer here. I wanted to dull down the background, and so I took the black and I made it into an opaque see-through gray layer by changing this. Now let me move it all the way down. Now all of a sudden the rain and everything is gone because that's all on that layer. I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it all the way back to black. So what I did on this layer that's black with the raindrops, is I have that black layer all the way over to opaque, and I used an eraser with another tool I want to show you that's super cool, and that is my ruler, and it's still set up. So let's just put it right here, and I used my eraser. I don't know that I was that big, but let's find out. 124 was the size. And I just erase a little bit of the black. You can see it, and it went on a perfectly straight line. There it is, what I just did. And I did all of these. I just erased the black away, and it makes it look like there's raindrops coming and down. And so then I also took the opacity of the black and grayed it out, made it a little translucent. So the other tool that's really cool down here in this very bottom corner, which I hope you can see, is the circle guide tool. And if I keep pressing on it, I can do a circle, which is really small here. Let me make it bigger for you so you can see. That's my circle guide. That one's like, it'll click when I get it to exactly a circle. There we go. You can make this by choosing the corner. You can make the whole thing go down at this to the same size. I was doing little droplets with this, so it gets really hard to move when it's small like that. Let me make it bigger, and then I can move it. I'm going to do another droplet down here to give you a demo. So here we are. I'm going to check the comments in a minute too. We'll leave it there for a minute. So that's not a droplet yet. That's just a guide. And I don't see any new comments. Thanks everybody. I'm getting some thumbs up, and I would love to see folks subscribe. I really appreciate new subscribers. I'm trying to grow my channel. And so we've got our circle there. And I want to be on the same layer as the raindrops. The raindrops are on the bug layer. It's hard to see, but I happen to know they're on the bug layer. So we're going to go on the bug layer. And we are going to choose, the bug layer is a vector brush layer. If I choose a pixelated layer brush and I go and try and do anything here, whoopsie, I didn't choose the right one. Here, let me choose a pixelated brush. There's a bright green, and let's say I'm just going to go out here and try and do something. It should switch layers as soon as, yes, it did. It said, oh no, you can't do that on this layer because this is a pixel layer, or this is a vector layer. We're going to throw it on one of these pixel layers down here. So let me hit undo because that was just to show you how this program behaves. going to go back and do what I'm supposed to be doing, which is a vector brush. And I'm going to choose a gray color. Now remember, I have that little, now it's going to behave. It's going to let me stay on this layer. And remember, I have this little guided circle right here. See? And I'm going to just draw around that with my gray. Actually, if you want, you couldn't see that very well. Let me choose a black, and then I'm going to hit undo because I don't really want it black, but you'll be able to see it better. See the black happening there? If I make it nice and wide, you're really going to see it. Now I've got a circle in the black around that. Undo, undo. Back to my light gray circle, which is what I wanted. Now I can put my guide away, and the way that I do that is I just press down here in the corner, the guide goes away, and now I've got an empty circle. So let me look at these. Okay, I had to remember what I did here. So here, what I did was I put a light green layer, translucent light green layer, and then I erased through it. And then I went and I did that all on this layer. And then I went and put a watercolor wash over the top. So let me show you how I did that. I'm going to go right here and I'm going to stay with my vector brushes. Actually, I can use the fill because the fill is a vector brush. I'm going to choose that light green. Let's see, I don't know what green I want to color. Let me just go with that green. And then I can make it super translucent. Actually, let me go with that light green so it'll show up. And I can make it super translucent and I can bucket fill it. There we go. Then I use my eraser. I'm on this same layer with my eraser, and let's just make that smaller. Undo. Let's make it smaller. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline a shape that I want to erase. Now I could just scratch back and forth with my pencil and erase like this, or I could use the magic wand. I've chosen the magic wand there and I just go like that. And then I can go down here and tell it to erase that. See how it highlighted it and just hit erase and it's gone. And then I deselect. Okay, so let's go back to the eraser. I'm going to erase a little bit more. I'm going to do that again and try and make it sweep more. There we go. Okay, now I am going to, let's see, how does it look compared to the others? Pretty similar. So now I'm going to go up to this layer and I'm going to choose a wet brush. I've got to go find a watercolor brush. I'm just going to do this watercolor wash soft. So I'll close my brushes and now I'm just going to choose a color, and I'm going to choose this blue here because I think this is the one I used before. And I'm just going to, oops, that went way bigger than I wanted. Undo. The size is at 512. It was all the way up to the top. That is not what I want. Watch that size to get smaller. How about right about there? That's how big the tip of my brush is. There. Okay, now as we zoom out, it starts to look like another drop of water. And that's a very basic drop of water. You know, I probably could even improve that a little bit, but that's the basic techniques. So let me show you a couple more tools before I end tonight. I am going to tap on the layers. That will close that. And then I can tap on this one and it's going to close that menu. But I'm going to show you one more super cool tool in here. And what do I want to draw with it? Oh my goodness, my leaves got really dark there. That's interesting. And you know why that is? It is because, let me go and show you what I did there. Those are a little darker than what I remember doing. So I'm going to go to my layers. These in the back, okay, it's not that layer, it's this layer. And if you don't know for sure which layer, go like this. Press on the layer you think it is, and then hit the eyeball button. And it will disappear that. It'll cross out the eyeball, and now that layer disappeared. It's hidden. Now I know I'm on the right layer because I hit it. I hit the eyeball and it disappeared. Let's bring it back. There, I'm on the right layer. So these leaves over here are really dark. And the way I got those was I put them on darken mode. And if I want them to be normal, they're bright green. That's how I actually drew them. But I felt like, let me close this. Let me move it over. That's what, oh no, I can't. Hold on. This, it looked too busy over here. So I said, I need to like push that in visually into the background. And that's where I came on here. There's a blend mode and I went and I darkened them. They're a little darker than what I remember though. So let me see what happens if we do multiply. Oh, they go quite black. Color burn, not much difference. Linear burn. Whoops, come here you. Linear burn. Darker color, they disappear. These are all filters. Screen, color dodge, linear dodge. Overlay is very similar. Let me just compare overlay. I could keep going, but I don't. It's not that big of a deal. They're a little darker than what I thought, but. So this is on overlay right now. I'm going to go back to darken. Oh yeah, darken makes it disappear more. I like overlay better. Overlay, there we go. All right, we'll stop doing that. So that's how you can manipulate singularly layers and change how they look. So I'm going to show you another tool over here. So there's a grid right here. And this is my most, I'm like so hooked on this tool. It is, I'm going to actually create a whole different layer to show you how this tool works. So it's a symmetry tool and I'm going to turn it on. And oh no, let me turn it off. Let me create another layer just so I can really demonstrate this for you. So I'm going to go up here, this vector layer, what's happening with it. If I turn it off, yeah, it's empty. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that layer with a white sheet of paper. I'll get my bucket. I will grab white and I'm just going to hit boom. Okay, my drawing is still there. I just stuck a opaque white sheet of paper over the top of it. And now I'm going to draw on that and I'm going to use the symmetry button. So I hit the grid. I'm going to open up symmetry. Whoops, open up symmetry, turn it on. And there are all these different kinds of symmetry. The first one is very simple. It's reflective symmetry. Oh, so important thing to remember is you want to be able to move the guidelines and then turn them off again so that they don't move. So I'm going to take the white dot to move it, put it in the center of the page. Then I'm going to turn the line so it's at 0 degrees. Whoops, not quite 0. There we go. So now I've got a line right down the center of my page. And then I'm going to uncheck the move guidelines because I want it to stay. I don't want it to move. I don't want to accidentally bump it. So it's kind of locked in place. And then excuse me. So this was a vector layer. Let's stay with the vector layer. I like that. And we'll just use a vector brush. We'll choose a blue brush. No, I'm gonna go, I wanna make sure you can see it. Let's choose a red brush. Okay. And let's do a heart. So this is how you do a perfect heart. I love the symmetry tool. I'm not sure why I'm so hooked on the symmetry tool, but there you have it. I'm hooked on it. So that's perfect symmetry. You can use the eraser on it and it will, oh, it's erasing the whole piece of paper too. So back up, back up, back up. Let's create a new layer, add a layer. Let's do the heart again. Go back and get my brush in red. So this is the paper layer here. This is the new layer I'm drawing on above it. So this is a see-through piece of paper on top of my white paper. So there's my heart, and I'm accidentally going to go too big. Okay, so how do I get rid of that? I just erase it. I have a very tiny eraser, as you can tell. Chosen. I could have made that bigger. Okay, so there's our perfect symmetry. Now let's change it. You can leave that drawing on there and you can change what grid you're using. So I could change the symmetry. Oh, that's interesting. I could just go sideways with the symmetry and we could do a boat on the water with a red. I will do another red, a boat on the water under a little sailboat on the water under the heart. And we're still up on that layer. And then let's go into some other, so here's how many do we have here? I don't know, it looks like it's 8 or 10. 12 sections. Oh, whoops. I wanted to move it, undo that, and move guidelines. So I'm going to move this down here. And then I'm going to lock it again. And now let's just, for fun, let's just grab a different color. We'll grab orange. And now I'm going to do a flower. Just like that, I've done the flower. And you can elaborate on the center. I'm just randomly picking colors and making marks. Let me make this bigger so you can see, like, this is a super fun tool to play with. And then let's just add a little green leaves in there. And then let's add some variation on the color here. Okay, so that's a super fun tool, the symmetry tool. So when you get down here into the rotational symmetry, these are pretty straightforward mirrors, reflective. Then you get into rotational symmetry down here, and they're really fun. Like this one I have used to make a playing card. So let me show you what I mean by that. I'm going to move this down here, and I'm going to turn it at an angle, and then I'm going to show you, I'm going to do it really small, but let's see, I'm going to also make that so that it won't move. And here we go. I'm just going to draw the shape of a playing card first, and then I'm going to do a king. King of Hearts. So that is how you would, if you wanted to design your own playing cards. It's really easy using these symmetry buttons. And of course, that's a very rough king. I have a King of Diamonds live that I did, and he's King Triton, but also the King of Diamonds. And I do an entire live drawing of him. You're welcome to look that up. I make all my lives public after they're done so people can go back and look at them. Okay, this is going on a little bit longer than I planned. Let me see what else I can do to show you some quick tools. So here we're just going to get, oh, let me turn off my symmetry button. Turn symmetry off there. Now I'll be able to do regular drawing if I need to, or regular erasing. So these are sort of overall controls of all your different tools. When you choose something, for instance, if you were to choose, let's just choose the heart. It's choosing the white. I don't want it to choose the white. I want it to choose the red line. Deselect. My heart is giving me a little trouble. There we go. Okay, let's say I've chosen the boat. It's all of the boat is dashed right now. And let's say that I want to make another boat, so I could, it's selected. So I tap on my 3 dots and I say copy selection, and then I hit paste selection. It makes it on its own layer, but now I've got 2 of those double boats, and I can move it around. I can shrink it, and now I've got another boat. So that's how that is, just one of many tools there. And I have to hit done in order to get it to stop working with that tool. So here is, I can, if you just want a new layer and start fresh, you just hit the plus button. This one is to disappear a layer, hide a layer. This one, and then you get into merging things down, which I'm not going to get into that, but let's say you wanted to consolidate all this. You've got like way too many layers. You can put them one on top of another and group them. And then if we wanted to, I'm going to turn this layer off and the white paper layer off. We're going to go back to our original drawing, and then I'm going to show you some filters here. It'll do all sorts of crazy things. So let's just look at it. Now what I just discovered this one the other day because I was doing all my layers individual, and then I realized, oh, this button I think controls all the layers. So if I want my brightness and contrast on the whole thing to go down, it darkens everything, or it can get really, really bright. Same with contrast, everything. It affects everything. And then they do blend modes on here. So let's see. This sometimes can be super fun. Sometimes it's not super exciting, and other times it's super exciting. Multiply. Wow. Color burn. Oh my gosh. Okay, this one is kind of cool. So let me go back here, normal. I want to put the whole thing in the screen. Let's close that and get this over here, because once it opens up those, you can't see all the things I've got going on here. So we'll go back over here. Oh, maybe I just had too many things open. So brightness, oh no. I tricked myself. Hold on. No, stop it. Moving over here. Okay, now we'll do it. Hue saturation. That's another one. We can change the hue of the whole. Oh my gosh. So exciting. Okay, so you really are not sure you like your painting, and you can really, really change things. Really, really change things. You can turn it into a black and white. This is, I mean, this is similar to what, things if you use any photo editing programs. This is all similar, but because it's a paint program, it's a bit more exciting in my opinion. Blend mode again, color burn, linear burn, darken, lighten, screen. Yeah, so it's doing a lot of interesting things as I tap through here. I like to do difference. Oh, wow. Sometimes difference is really cool, but this time it didn't work at all. Exclusion, that's kind of cool. Subtraction didn't work at all either. Divide. Whoa. Hue, saturation, color. So we're going to go back to normal and close this up. That's the filter button right there. Love that's my new favorite toy, second to the favorite toy. I still am hooked on the symmetry toy. Button. I can't find anything I love more than that. Okay, so I think we are coming to the end of the really cool tools. There's some tools on here that I really haven't used too much, like this one. I started playing around with this. This is so that you can make a little bit of animation. You can, like, if I want that bug to move up, I could create a path and send him up the, I don't have that mastered yet on this program, so it's premature for me to introduce that to you. But if you get to it first, please let me know. I got to double check the comments. The app is called Adobe Fresco. Hopefully I said that before you left, Kobeni. Adobe Fresco, it's available on most apps that have a stylus. You can actually download it on your iPhone. iPhones don't work with the stylus the way an iPad does, but you have to draw with your finger. And on that tiny screen, it's very hard to draw with your finger. It can be done though. I've done it. That's how I started drawing digitally. Was I had an Android phone. I downloaded a drawing app and I just drew with my finger. And I did that for a few months until I just said, I can't take this anymore. I'm going to I bought what was called a phablet. It was a phone/tablet. So it was like a really big smartphone, and it had a little stylus that slid into the side of it. And I really enjoyed that for a couple of years. But that's been long gone, and right now I'm just using an iPad to do my drawing. I also have a Wacom tablet that I've used with a computer. And so I will, I've just started putting links in my videos, and mostly in my shorts and in my live videos. I've gone back and I've put in a link for the exact iPad that I bought. And I bought the iPad Pro. It's one of the more expensive ones. You don't have to, if you don't want to spend that much money, don't. But because I do art all the time, it's worth it to me. It's got a 13-inch screen, and I actually think I actually had a smaller screen before, and I kind of like it better because this feels awkward. When I was on the plane, I pulled it out. It feels like I'm pulling out a computer. It's so big. So the little bit smaller screen is, you can go like this on whatever screen. So it's really not a problem to have a 10 or 11-inch screen. It still works just fine. So that is what I wanted to share with you tonight, and I want to thank everybody who came on. I'm so thrilled that I got some thumbs up. And before I go, I might just show you a couple. If you're new here, this is I haven't shared this with anyone, so I'm going to give you a preview. I think I'm going to redraw this as a live drawing, but I did this actually last night. And was it last night? No, it was the night before last. I was traveling yesterday from my brother's house home, and I didn't draw yesterday. I drew this the night before, and it only took me, because I had a vision of what I wanted to do. I wanted a super colorful tree with a face in it. I wanted a talking tree. And So I drew it out pretty quickly, and I can actually show you. The video is pretty short, because I kind of surprised how quickly it happened. The first part is a little bit boring because um, I sketch out in a light gray and you can't see it very well, but it'll go pretty quick. Preview the time lapse. So here's my preview. You can see the whole thing being built. So you can see some light gray right there, and now the leaves are going on. It only takes a minute for all the light gray to get in. I roughed out everything before I started painting in the color. So it's very similar to working on paper. You know, you really want to just lightly rough it out. Did the same thing on that one with the watercolor background, the gray, the see-through gray shadow to create some variation of the color in the background. And then I used a rake brush on my tree. And then I did a lot of copy and paste on the flowers when I get to that. Oh, I did the face here. This was fun. I wonder, can I make it bigger? I can't make it bigger. The face took a while. It's just about done. I worked on the tree. Now I started working that tree over some more. Pretty soon I'm going to move on to all the leaves on the tree. They went quicker than I expected. They went as fast as the whole face. They're simple. And of course now this video, you know, presents it in less than 2 minutes, but it took me 4 or 5 hours to do the drawing. It just records every single stroke, every single mistake, everything is in this video. And how I changed it. I was thinking about doing different things with the face, but I kind of put it back the way I originally had it. And that's it. And that's, oh, no, I'm not done. Sorry, thought I was done. Now I'm done. So I actually looked at, I looked at Chagall. When I had this idea in my mind, I wanted something colorful, kind of not realistic, you know. I don't want photorealism or anything like that. I love photorealism, but it's not my genre that I use. And so I just modeled this after Marc Chagall, who is a famous painter from the last century. And he was super colorful. So I appreciated that. I appreciate being able to look at historical artists. And I was wondering if I have, is there more? Your files. I think there's more on here. I had another, so you can see I've done a lot of drawings. I don't know if I've got it on here. I did a tea. Oh, maybe I don't have it on here. Let me just look a little bit farther. No, I guess I don't. I have a tea exercise. I'll have to show. I have the tea exercises in a video. And I think what I'm going to do is a live version of the tea exercise. So the tea exercise is, I just can't believe I don't have it. Let me look at the owls. Oh, here it is. Oops. We'll open the owls. Okay, this was a finish that I took from a tea exercise. So I did those owls a while back, and the T exercise is here. So the T exercise is that you start with a simple sketch. And this one was, I used this stylus and I used a pencil that was quite rough. And I said, that's going to be my subject matter, are 3 owls. I met 3 baby owls in a barn mow a couple of years ago, and I really love them. So then you take the subject matter, and you start doing it in different genres. So here I said, what would it look like if I did the 3 baby owls like a Matisse paper cutout? What would it look like if I did the 3 baby owls in a Celtic, like, oh, this was the Celtic one here, a Celtic style. And I'm like, oh, I like that. I like some of it, but I don't like all of it. So here it is again. I reworked it because I wanted the Celtic to work, and I really started to like that. And then I said, what if I did the owls as like a Picasso painting? And so I did this. And then I said, what if I combine the two? So this is one that might be worth enlarging. I really enjoy this because it's very colorful. I combined the Picasso with the Celtic style. And so I used different artists and different genres from art history to come up with this T exercise. Oops, I think I accidentally just put a mark on there. And it's just really helpful for figuring out what you want a final piece to look like. And it is time consuming to do this. But out of this, I think that I probably have one that I did that one. I think that's worth doing larger. I actually think that this one might be worth doing larger. And this is sort of an Art Deco style with those lines. The Matisse paper cutout is kind of nice. But I think that these two, this one I think I want to also do larger. And so it's a great exercise to help you figure out what you want to do in a larger version. It's called the T exercise, because you start with one box and you build off it in 4 directions, and then you just keep going. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by tonight. It's hard for me to leave when I see people are still on here because I want to show you more. But I do have to stop because I've got some other things to do tonight. So I'm just going to leave you with, I'm going to play one more. I'll play one more video of a drawing of a goat face. And we'll do the preview time lapse so you can see how a goat face came into being. I used a T exercise on my goat face. I'm just gonna be quiet and let it do its thing. Okay, can't help it. Gotta talk. When I say I'm gonna be quiet and let it do its thing, I'm letting the program show you what I did, because I did all the marks, and that created this. It wasn't a computer generated image. It just records everything that I do and then comes up with a little video in the end. Okay, right on. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. Would love to have anyone subscribe that sees this, that found it useful. Again, it's Adobe Fresco that I'm showing off tonight, and I am not sponsored by them. I'm just really crazy about that program. So thank you so much, and I'm going to sign off. Bye-bye.